It's Paul with LSP Data and LSP Leads, where we focus on smart roofing lead generation. And in this video, I wanted to focus on a use case for Tampa, Florida. And I'm going to try to record this type of videos to give you a little bit more insight, especially if you're a roofer or you have any other kind of contractor work, right? So I want to quickly cover, how we've been able to tailor a lot of our data to specific cities. In the last video, I mentioned a bit of a comparison between Miami, Florida, St. Petersburg, and how the market is slightly different, right? And especially when we're talking about other states as well. So again, the intent of this video is to show you in general how we initially capture a lot of the data. So in this case, parse through a lot of historical data, right? And including our own LSP data with real estate, right? So we've did a lot of looking into past historical permits and also tied it with our information with complaint and also code violation and all that good stuff, as well as adding things like median income for each household. So with that, we started observing a lot of patterns, right? And I want to jump straight to it just because I have a bit to cover here. And again, generate a bit of slides here just to make it a little bit easier, right? So when it comes to Tampa and Hillsborough County, a lot of it was led by storm recovery, right? A lot of them also focus on luxury residentials and infrastructure work, right? So again, hope this all makes sense to you. I'm going to run through it pretty quickly, but obviously you can stop the video. And this is going to give you a lot of insights, again, especially if you're a sales roofing person doing some prospecting, right? Or maybe if you're sort of focused on door knocking and that sort of thing. So again, a lot of this is this institutional lead spotlight as well, right? There is a lot of big work. So even if you focus on commercial work, that is where we see most of the money here, right? And when it comes to residential ones, there is a property value, right? So if you are pulling leads, this can be very helpful to filter out specific property values as well, right? And these are some of the top active residential leads here. Again, this is all permit data, right? So, and then a bit of Hurricane Milton and Helene. When it came to 2025, 2024, right? From what I've seen as well is a lot of this type of damage doesn't get replaced right away, right? So a lot of times there is, dealing with insurance and that sort of thing. So a lot of times, a lot of properties may end up just you may see a lot of blue tarp, right? But again, a lot of this areas as well is looking at specific hotspots as well for potential, next year, there may be another thunderstorm and so forth, right? And again, some of the sort of work that a lot of roofers are generating is within this range. Specifically 20 to 50,000 seems to be a decent size based on the data. And obviously, like I said, there's a lot of industrial opportunities, that sort of thing. The other thing I want to show you as well is this is the same thing as well, but 25,000 seems to be a medium job as well. A lot of this as well, I wanted to show you. This is very similar to what you saw, some of that structural work as well. So besides roofing, there is other opportunities as well. And like I mentioned in my last video, when we talk about code violations, sometimes it's not just roofing, it's structural as well. So we're also trying to help you upsell other services, especially if you do a full-blown construction, remodeling, demolition, that type of thing as well. And here are some of the gems that I believe that some of you can take advantage of, right? There's a lot of zip codes as well that you can focus on. And historically, there's been a lot of customers that pay quite hefty for a lot of job opportunities. So again, for us, even from our own marketing, we're going to target a lot of contractors that focus on specific ticket high items costs, right? And this is another one that you may want to take a screenshot of as well. Some of the job counts and the medium cost of those jobs as well. So again, this is all based on data, right? We're not coming up with these numbers, and I'm not some kind of guru that's just guessing and just telling you, oh yeah, go after the storms, right? Because that's not what the data says, right? And again, I'll be doing you a disservice if I'm just making up things, or just making an application that just shows you the weather patterns, right? Which may be helpful, probably not. And the other bits as well is some of the basically the correlation between the jobs performed and also when the property was built. So a lot of times, a lot of the properties are in the last 30 years, right? So you don't necessarily have to focus on super old properties, but you can focus more on the last, even up to the last 15, 20 years as well. Yeah, here's some of the other kind of signals that may help you to identify and find new customers as well, right? And yeah, I'll leave it at that. There's been a lot of commercial jobs as well identified. But again, if you're starting with single property homes, multifamily, commercial, right, it seems that there is a lot more opportunities there as well. The other thing I wanted to show you a bit is I generated a bit of a marketing strategy for you, and just giving you some highlights. Like I mentioned earlier, some of them may be a good idea to pull properties after 1990 as well, specific zip codes like I mentioned. So hopefully this gives you really good insights. And again, some of those is a lot of them, obviously this may be obvious, right? But re-roofing, obviously storm damage. A lot of times we know when there's active leaks as well, because we pull also information from tenants complaining, right? So they may complain about the roof leakage, the roof caving in, mold, any other insightful information that we may pull, right? And again, from our point of view, right? So like I mentioned, it's great that we're able to pull historical data, but like I mentioned in the past, we're leveraging a lot of those trends, and we're basically applying that same logic to our service, right? So by the time you go in here at some point when we have our platform available, right? If you have door knockers, or if you're just doing a bit of marketing, or even if you're doing mailers, right? This should help you identify that. And it could be as simple as grabbing, a list of a certain area, right, that you want to focus on. Maybe you're sending your guys to go and do door knocking, right? So a lot of those are properties which we, this logic will apply, right? And again, we're trying to make it easy on you, whether you're doing door knocking, whether you're doing mailers, right? Identify properties that will require, that require re-roofing or some sort of repairs as well. But I guess what I wanted to say is mainly here, we're following the same logic that, like I mentioned, this is the one we're using, right? So you're going to get all the information here, right? This consider a strong lead because there's code cases related to it. And also, as you can see, the income one, from our observations, this person has, there's likelihood that they can afford this type of job, right? And if you time it right, that could be a good opportunity as well. So high level, how are we actually leveraging this logic, right? So I'm giving you a bit too much of our logic, but a lot of times, we're excluding things of permits that have been already touched, right? So there's no need to sort of target when you're doing your marketing. There's no need to do properties that have already been had a roof replaced, right? In the last, say, up to 12, 15 years as well, right? Again, for many years, right, we have insights into code violations, complaints, that sort of thing from our real estate data business, right? My LSP data business. So a lot of times, we're able to capture those things that you would never find in Google Street View, right? Or any other platform. And that's the advantage that you would get from us as well. Other things as well. This is sort of, the scoring is, there's a bit of the logic of, I don't call it algorithm, but our formula, right? If the property is fairly old, if there's different violations, if the median income in this case is 120 for Tampa there. And like you saw, based on the observation of historical data, the market value of the property is above a certain threshold as well. This leads to having that higher score that you saw, or that higher kind of confidence, right, of making this a more strong lead as well, right? So in this case, this property as well is probably worth, let's see, target market value about 175, right? And the bits that I want to show here as well is that every market is slightly different. And of course, if you're a roofer in a local area, you're probably going to know, what works best. The other things that you could take away from here as well is that if you do hire a marketing company or someone else, right, maybe you can provide this type of insights so they can help you better find a targets that you're interested in, right? Because some of you may want to focus on those $25,000 jobs, right, versus a few $8,000 dollars here and there. So again, for us, we don't generate leads. We identify homeowners who already need a roof or roof repairs, right? And if you watch our previous videos, I kind of touch a little bit more on the rest of the platform, how we're using this type of data to come up with these leads. And again, if you're interested, I'm going to leave a video description below for a Calendly invite if you want to jump on a Zoom call and we can walk you through a demo of our upcoming platform. But the data is available, so if you want to work with us at this moment, we can start. And again, we're covering a couple of cities. We're planning to expand, nationwide eventually. But at the moment, we cover Texas City and Florida cities, as well as we're expanding to Georgia. And if you are interested in our product or you want us to cover your cities or states, you just add it as a comment or email us, or let's jump on a Zoom call. Thank you for watching.